Peace, family. This is Tariq. Welcome back again for another day, another episode of Knowledge Corner. All right, today's insight: treasured like a jewel. Treasured like a jewel. Uh, Today's message comes from the song Distant Lover by the great Marvin Gaye. This is off of his Let's Get It On album that was released on August 28th of 1973. Distant Lover is probably in my top 5 favorite Marvin songs. I actually heard the live version of the song before I heard the actual studio version of the song. And if you have ever heard the live version of the song, you will know why it's one of my favorites. It's just the vibe of the live version of the album that that's really dope. The part of the song we're going to focus on is when Marvin sings that every moment that I spent with you, I treasure them like it was a precious jewel. When you spend time with someone, first off, the one thing that we can't get back in life is time. So, knowing that when you spend time with someone that you care for, that time is very, very precious. That time for some people seems to not go fast. It actually kind of seems that time kind of stands still in a way, if that makes sense. I've had moments like that in my life when I've been with certain people, and that time just doesn't seem like it goes anywhere. Or in some cases, that time seems like it goes like extremely, extremely fast. But those words are so inspiring. Just lets you know that I'm not the only one who thinks and felt that way when it comes to spending time with someone that I care for. This weekend, I actually spent time with, my daughters. They are two of the most important people in my life. And for me to actually spend time with them is like a precious jewel. I love spending time with them. Even though, they're little girls, my oldest daughter is a teenager now. She's doing her teenage thing. It can be overwhelming sometimes, but I love it because I know at one point in their lives, they're going to forget that I'm important to them, and they're going to want to be with their friends and things of that nature. So I cherish the time that I have with them like a precious jewel. What type of precious jewel? Like a diamond or, a sapphire, one of those jewels that, that cost a lot of money. Just knowing that I can spend time with them just does something for me. And I cherish that. I really, really do. And just thinking back, to when they were babies, and it's kind of hard for me to kind of see them as, young ladies, because I remember holding them, in my arms, as babies. And now I kind of understand, how my parents felt, looking at, my siblings and myself, the older we got, and now, we're old enough to have our own children. And that cycle's going to continue to go on. But, in the song, Marvin's talking about a lover who's at a distance, a long distance type of relationship. And one part of that for me kind of definitely resonates because, my wife and I are currently living in two different, cities. That's actually getting ready to end in a while. But I also saw my wife this weekend, and that felt really good, to see her. I cherish that time as well, like a precious jewel, like it does, in the song. But getting into the Bible and the Quran verses, Psalms, verse 90, chapter 90, verse 12. So teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Again, so teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom. One thing that I know about wisdom, it comes with age. And the older you are, the more wise you will become if you follow the path of God. Let me emphasize that, because there are some very old idiots, if I may say so myself. But wisdom comes with age, and knowledge of life, and gives you an understanding of life. And me being a lot older now, I pray that if you're watching this video, you could see that I'm showing the wisdom of experience and the knowledge that I've gained over my life through, making these videos. You pray to have wisdom. That is not anything that comes, easy. King Solomon was the richest man in the world. He could have had anything in life, but he prayed to God for wisdom. And he used his wisdom. Even though he had his faults, he still used his wisdom. Surah Al-Hajj. This is the 22nd surah. This is the 66th verse or ayat of this surah. It is he who gave you life, will cause you to die, and will again give you life. Truly man is most ungrateful creature. The ending of this verse always gets me, because it really puts a lot of things now into perspective for me, seeing how some people move and knowing that in a lot of ways we are ungrateful, because a lot of us don't realize how grateful we are to be able to wake up every day and live our lives. We're ungrateful knowing that our God, our Father, he loves us and he will do anything for us. We take things for granted. And when you take things for granted, the big picture is never in your vision. You always forget that. And this verse always reminds me of how grateful, mankind can be. When you look at history, and you look at people going to other people's lands and trying to take them over, and they consider that manifest destiny. Or if you look at how some people don't like how one civilization is worshiping God, and they force their way of life onto them, not understanding and not realizing, even though they may not be praising God the way I praise God, they're still praising God. So in a lot of ways, we're ungrateful because we don't see the differences in each other. We all have our differences, but at the end of the day, as long as you're able to praise God, and regardless of what you call him, me personally, I don't have any problems with that. That's just me. But hey, I'm just one person. But, that's the way I see things. And as long as I see things that way, I really don't care what anyone else thinks. That's just my personal opinion. So, treasure like a jewel. Always make time for your family. Always make time for the people that you love. Because you never know, it may be the last time you're actually able to spend time with them. So treasure that time like a precious jewel. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe, and positive energy activates constant elevation. Peace.